In this tutorial, we're going to be migrating a slider from a fashion theme, which is not built using the Visual Builder, over into the hero theme, which defaults to having a video on the home page. Here's what the slider will look like. And so we'll go ahead and go over to our storefront running the hero theme. And we're already in editor mode. I'm going to first open up the hierarchy, and we're going to go down to the section for the video. Right here is the hero video banner section. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the section because the hero theme as it currently ships uses this class. And this class causes an overlay to be generated. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the hero video banner class. You'll see all of a sudden that overlay element goes away. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to get rid of all of the content inside of this particular section, starting with the video and the banner. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply use the replace option, and we're going to replace the video with a slider. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is get rid of the banner info. Now, a slider has one or more slides, so what we're going to go ahead and do is create our first slide. So we'll do add a child, and we have our slide, and we're going to go ahead and upload an image. So for our first slide, I'm going to upload a particular image, and I've already saved off several of these images, so I'm just going to drag that image over and let it upload. Okay. Now, it's totally up to you if you want an overlay color on the slide, and you can do it by each slide. If you find that the content you're putting on top of the image does not have enough contrast to show up, then you'll want to adjust the overlay color. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate. So within this slide, I'm going to go ahead and add some headlines for the text. So I'm going to do two headlines. I'm going to do first one will be an H1 headline, and I'm going to go ahead and put the text. Let me grab the particular text that I put on a notepad document, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust the colors. So the default color, we're just going to use white instead of the default color. And what I like to do is go ahead and get all my fonts, because I'm going to replicate this slide over and over. So we'll come into the fonts. The other slider was using a 60 point and then a railway font. So I'm going to pick that Google font right here. Google has a lot of fonts. Okay. So that'll give us that particular font. We'll just stick with normal. A new feature we did add recently, when you pick a Google font, we'll actually tell you the exact values that they have supported. So you typically want to pick something that is directly supported. Alright, so let's see here. Let's go back to our hierarchy. We got our headline, our first one. Let's add a second headline. This will be an H2 tag. Good for SEO. Let's go ahead and copy and paste our text over. Oops. Let's go back and fix that text color. White. Same thing on the font. The other one used a 28 point font. And let's go ahead and we will select the same Google font. Okay. All right. So back to the slide itself, they have a link URL because we want the entire slide to be clickable and take them there. So I'd already copied off the different links that the other slider used, and so I'm just going to put that in. All right, that looks pretty good. So we have one slide right now, and what we can do, I'm not going to do every one of these slides on the video because the other one had 7, but um, we're going to end up duplicating this slide. Before we do that though, let's go ahead and save out the content and take a look at how the slider is behaving in the various responsive views. So we can see we got our slider, and in the hero theme, without that overlay, some of the text may end up washing out depending upon the color of the color content of the image. So you may want to adjust the overlay. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my developer mode here and go ahead and put this into responsive mode. And you can see that the fonts we've chosen are pretty large, basically unreadable. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually use what's called fluid fonts so that we can have a different font size when we're at a small tablet version. So I'm going to go back into the headlines, and I'm going to say, we're going to do 60 at large, but let's do 30. Let's see what 30 at small gets us. And then there's this setting for fluid font sizes, and what that's going to cause the browser to do is scale the font between 30 and 60 as the browser gets larger. Likewise, we'll top out at 28. Let's maybe start at 18, and we'll turn fluid fonts on as well. And we'll go ahead and go into responsive mode. That's a lot better. And you can actually see the fluid fonts at work if you were to use your inspector and look at a piece of text and size. You can see right now we're at 59.44. As we get bigger, let's see here. There's my computed font. There we go. We're 60. And as we shrink the screen, that font size is going down automatically. Okay, so we have the fonts selected for our slide. We have the text configured for one, a link, etc. So now we can go through, and all we have to do is take the slide object and just use the duplicate option, and all of a sudden we'll get a second slide. Now it gets a little confusing when you have multiple slides, so I like to just rename them as to maybe what they are. So since this one was about autumn, and then this one's going to be about accessories, so we'll just, that helps us to keep things named. We'll open up the slide, and we're going to upload its image. Alright, upload that image there. Just our link URL. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we can just let's see here. Go back into my slider real quick. Edit these two headlines, and we'll change out the text. In this particular slide, we only have one line of text, and so what we're going to do is we'll just delete the second headline. Okay, save that out. And looking at the actual slider itself, this is where we can control a lot of factors about the slide, including the dots. So, for example, right now the dots are a particular default color. You know, if you wanted to, you could come in here and set the active color to like a green, and that would give you, you know, a particular look. So you can actually control the dots on the slider. You can adjust the height of the slider, how fast it plays, autoplay, how many slides. Most of the time the slider is going to be one per page, but on large sometimes people will do two per page and they'll show up side by side and scroll. So you have a tremendous amount of control over the behavior of the slide at the slider itself. So if you like arrows, turn them on. If you don't like arrows, you can turn those off. So you know, if you don't like the dots, turn them off, etc. So you can just sit there and replicate slide after slide after slide and adjust them. Okay, so that's going to do it for the tutorial. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to support@ultracart.com.